Oh my God!
Hindi tayo makikita. Oh my God.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Bim, and we had early access to Rainbow Six Extraction. We were able to play it for a number of days, but for now, don't treat this as a full review. It's more of a first impressions kind of thing. It was impossible to find a pickup group during the early access period when we had access to it. But even though you could play alone, the proper experience I think requires like 3 members in a team who communicate. And given that the schedules of the review team weren't always in sync, we weren't able to plow through as much of the content as we would have liked. That said, even if you do manage to find a pickup group, it probably still wouldn't be an ideal experience. Extraction puts the same emphasis on cooperation and teamwork as Siege does, just to a less competitive extent. So unless you're on point with communication, and there is a ping system even if you're not on microphones, missions are going to get pretty challenging and a lot less fun. When my friends and I first started playing, we felt pretty underwhelmed, to be honest. After the first mission, we felt like we could just run through the whole thing, guns blazing, which wouldn't make it very special. But fortunately, the game was alright boys, that was just an appetizer. Because in the very next mission, we felt like the difficulty ramped up considerably, made it a lot more fun. To the point where we got whooped so bad, we started playing, or we were forced to play it, the way we were supposed to. Being silent, crouching, and being sneaky, all that good stuff. For every mission that you fail, or you get knocked down twice in one deployment, and your teammates were unable to extract you, you lose an operator. And what that means is you won't be able to use that operator on your next deployments until you mount a rescue mission, to get them back. If you fail your rescue mission a number of times, it's not like you're gonna run out of operators. You eventually get your operators back, but they lose 30% of their total XP. Now, at low levels, which is what we experienced, it didn't suck too badly. We lost a level or two. But if you've grinded a specific operator for hours and hours and hours, losing 30% is going to hurt. That gives running your missions, and especially your rescue missions, a very real sense of stakes. Now, you can run all the missions on every map, as far as I know, as far as we saw, up to 4 levels of difficulty: moderate, cautious, severe, and critical, which is reserved for high-level operators and people who know what they're doing, so not us. So every step up in the difficulty gives you more variations in enemy type and enemy mutations and higher XP gains. You start out with just 9 operators, and with 9 more to unlock, there's a total of 18. Each operator has a special skill, and much like other character-based shooters, skills can either be offensive or defensive, or be utility. My personal favorite is Alibi for her decoy, it draws aggro, and Finka for her adrenaline surge that automatically reses teammates even from far away. That comes in clutch. Every operator also has their own set of weapons and attachments. And as your operator levels up, you get enhanced versions of your skills, more weapons, more weapon skins, uniforms, and more attachments. A bunch of the cosmetics are grindable, but there are a few that they do sell for real money, but from what I see, the grindable ones look the best, in my opinion. As you complete missions and objectives, you gain character XP. Actually, as you do anything, you gain XP. And the more XP you gain, the more XP you accrue, you unlock milestones. Milestones determine your overall progression. With each new milestone, you can unlock operators or gadgets and maps. So that's the main thing you want to watch if you want to get far into the game. And because of its pedigree, you'd be right to expect it to have extremely pinpoint tight gunplay like Siege. And for the most part, you'd be right. But once you break stealth, given the frantic, almost horde-like behavior of the enemy NPCs, you'd almost have to rely on just getting as many rounds into the enemies as possible, because it gets crazy. You have to stop your team from getting overwhelmed. And if you can manage it though, and if particular mission objectives allow for it, it's almost always better to stay out of sight. I guess, a little bit like Siege in that sense. And a lot of the operators have suppressed weapons that won't alert the enemies, the Archeans, in the immediate area. You also have the ability to crouch down and walk slower to keep from making as much noise as possible. And failing that, in the early levels at least, I find that a well-timed, well-placed smoke grenade is pretty much a get-out-of-jail-free card. In terms of mission structure, like I mentioned, I only really experienced early level gameplay. We only unlocked like 2 maps, and we're only able to do, I think, 2 ticks of difficulty. So there's a lot of missions that we weren't able to touch. However, with the ones we did get to play, there's already a good mix of objectives to keep you and your teammates on your toes. You know, there's typical ones like King of the Hill, where you have to remain in an area and you defend it, doing a scan, you know, that kind of thing. There are others like you have to eliminate specific elites in the map, or you have to assassinate someone quietly, or there's a triangulation one. You know, there's a bunch, and they're pretty well designed. Some require stealth, some will break stealth. So, you know, it keeps you on your toes, all in all. I think over time, though, the missions you're going to encounter will be repetitive. It will be the same over and over. That's why I think this game really is best enjoyed in bite-sized chunks with a few buddies. It's the social part that really drew us in for this game. So should you buy it? I think if you have at least 2 friends who want to share a high-intensity, high-tension cooperative experience with you that has the tight gameplay and gunplay of Siege, then maybe you should consider it. If you could be part of a guild or find a Discord with active players on it, that's even better, right? The base game only costs about 1,500 pesos. That's about $30 on both the Epic Game Store and Uplay, the Ubisoft launcher. That's half the price of games these days. Even less than half for AAA titles on the new consoles. So that might be like the price point might be enough to convince you to just, you know, give it a shot. But just remember that it's a game that's best enjoyed in small doses, because the mission structures do tend to be repetitive if you play for a long period of time. But if you want to play alone, you know, it's doable, but you lose a lot of the magic. It's nothing special when you play it alone. Jumping into pugs might be interesting, but you lose a lot of the social teamwork aspect that made my experience with Rainbow Six Extraction enjoyable. Anyway, that's it for Rainbow Six Extraction. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys learned a little something. And I will catch you guys in the next one.
Walang panghil.